just sloppiness, lack of execution when we get down in the red zone. We shot ourselves in the foot a lot today. So we just got down there. We had some good plays, but the negative plays really killed us. The penalties, the formation mess up, not having the right personnel in there. So it was just a little bit overall sloppy today, and we hurt ourselves, and they played better than we did today. So we're on a short week, so we got a quick turnaround. We got to flush it, and we got to be more detailed this next week.
Not a good day at the office, not good weather. Sunday at Acrisure Stadium, the Cardinals in town, the Steelers losing 24-10. They fall to 7-5. They were a 2-10 team coming in, and it just felt like all three phases, as you heard there from Mitch Trubisky, just could not get it together to pull off a victory.
And it's funny, Missy, because it started as if they were going to do what they did in Cincinnati. They drove right down the field, making big plays down the field, 38 yards, George Pickens, and then it stalls, and then they settle for 3. And all of a sudden, things started to change a little bit. And gradually, as this game moved forward, you can tell that Arizona, which is, by the way, has been in a lot of games, you can make an argument they're really not a 2-10 team. They had 3 games I look back on they could have won. So it's dangerous when they feel it, and they started to feel it, especially right at the halftime when they stopped the Steelers on 4th and goal.
Yeah, it was Kyler Murray's 4th start, I believe, this season. He was starting to get more comfortable, but we, have to start with the injury situation since it's a Thursday night game this week with the New England Patriots coming to town. Coach Tomlin spoke, updated us on Kenny Pickett. That's why you heard from Mitch Trubisky. High ankle sprain. He had surgery this morning. We know he will not play on Thursday, not season ending. We just don't know how long that's going to be. And for Mitch, now he knows he's the guy to prepare for this week, but the offense as a whole, not just the quarterback position, has to play better.
No question. And again, this is the start of the game. When this pass connected, I thought, man, this is going to be a big day for this offense down the field with the run game, because the run game went over 100 yards again. They were trying to make it 4 or 5 straight with 150. I think they got to 123. But then again, and just not capitalizing on opportunities, especially on 3rd down. And I think if you look at the story of this game, it's what Arizona did in those 3rd down situations and what the Steelers did not do.
Yeah, the possession downs, the weighty downs, whatever Coach Tomlin or you like to call them, that's definitely where it was. And I think especially in the red zone, you go to literally the play where Kenny Pickett was hurt. He comes out. It's 4th and goal. Mitch Trubisky goes in. And even as we're seeing here on the video, the low snaps, just so many things went wrong. Even, on the defensive side, there were 2 balls on the field, and normally the Steelers defense, they'll get at least one of those. That didn't happen. But for the Steelers offense, something they have to figure out and have to do it quickly.
Yeah, they really do. And again, it's all about timing of these big plays. This is where Kenny Pickett got hurt. If he scores there, it's 10-3. Instead, he not only doesn't get in, he gets hurt, and then the Steelers end up giving up a 99-yard. I don't know the last time I saw a 99-yard drive against them. I'm sure it's happened in recent years, but that team I didn't expect it from. But I give them a lot of credit. They stood up and they took advantage of vacancies in the middle of the field for the Steelers, dealing with so many injuries to their inside linebackers.
Yeah, we'll get to the defense, but just to stay with offense, because there's another injury to mention. Isaac Seumalo was dealing with a shoulder injury. You saw on that play when Mitch came in, Nate Herbig went in for him. Coach Tomlin said questionable if he'll be able to play on Thursday, so something else we have to watch. And I think he's really started to play well as the season's progressed as well, especially in the run game.
He hadn't also allowed a sack since week 6, I saw on one of the notes. So Isaac Seumalo was doing exactly what they thought he could do when they brought him in as a free agent. And that's why you need depth. Boy, attrition is a big part of it. I think we all know that. We've seen so many people get injured. But on offense, man, they were cranking up in the Cincinnati game, and it started that way yesterday, but then things did not work out as such. So lose a game I thought they were going to win. I think everyone thought they were going to win. Now it leads to a game they must win, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the Steelers defense. And before we start breaking down some of that, let's listen to Captain Cam Hayward following the loss.
Man, he finished runs. We didn't tackle good. A couple times he bounced back and cut off, and we weren't sound in our gaps.
How frustrating were some of the self-inflicted wounds from today?
Very, very, very frustrating. All 3 phases we were kicking ourselves in the tail, and you got to have the lack of discipline. I mean, you got to have discipline in those moments. I think it falls on leadership. It falls on me. I got to own it. But man, going to be kicking myself for this one.
Yeah, you can see the sound of disappointment in his voice as he's talking about it. Kyler Murray, as we said, really started to play well and get better and better as the game went on, and they also leaned on their run game. And former Steeler James Conner, not him there, but he had over 100 yards, the sixth player to play the Steelers as a former player to go over 100 yards just in the team history. And it was just one of those things where it felt like it wasn't bend, don't break anymore. It was just, we can't make this stop.
Yeah, that one run you saw there by Michael Carter, that was a big third down on that 99-yard drive where he got it spun away from a would-be tackle of Michael Walker and ended up getting 19 yards on it. And then they just relied on it. And you can tell that James Conner, once he gets going, he still can do a lot of good things. And I think the motivation coming back to Pittsburgh, he had a lot of family and friends at that game. He wanted to show up, and boy, did he show up, especially at the end of the game when they were trying to feed him to get to 100. He didn't have I think he had 80-some, but then he just put it together at the end. They didn't lose possession, and you're right about what your earlier statement was. The Steelers normally find themselves making recoveries on fumbles. There were two of them that were sitting right there for them, and they did not do it, and it led to this.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of them for sure, and just a number of things that went wrong. But injuries, you can't use them as an excuse, but you lose a Landon Roberts at a position that it just seems like you are losing someone almost every game in the second half of the season. He was the green dot guy, the defensive coordinator. Everyone was really rallying around him when he became just the last man standing, it felt like. And you lose him, and communication definitely was not great. The penalties across the board, not just defense, but when you have 12 guys on the field coming out of a timeout, things like that, it felt like it was snowballing. Even though it wasn't snowing, it was raining and hailing.
And once you see Chris Boswell miss a makeable field goal, then you know it's not going to be your day necessarily. That was, special teams had a big part in this as well. Too many penalties. Miles Killebrew's a captain. He knows better than that, but he was just in, I don't know what happened on the one where he ran into the fair catch.
Yeah.
That's one of those you just never see happen. Very seldom. Guy waves his hand, don't touch him, and he did, and 15 more yards tacked on. So field position became big at that juncture of the game, too.
Absolutely. So as we said, it's a short week. You have the Patriots coming to town. How do they clean this up and do it quickly?
Start fast. For me, I want to see them, especially against this New England defense, which when they dig into a game, they're tough to score upon. So I think if you get them in a hole with the quarterback situation they have, that would certainly bode well for them. But they need to do what they did on that first drive yesterday, but turn it into 7 points. If they can do that, come out. And listen, I would trust Mitch Trubisky throwing the ball wherever. Kenny Pickett's done a good job. I think it's 218 yards without an interception, but you can't worry about that when you're trying to score points at some point. And they need to come out aggressively in this game on Thursday night.
And even though it does not feel great today, they're still in the playoff race. There's games that can help them get where they want to go. It's just a matter of putting it all together. So
yeah, and when you see Baltimore's schedule, they have one of the hardest schedules remaining. You can't count on them losing, but you have to put pressure by winning these games. These are games you have to win at home. And like I said, lost opportunity in Arizona. This one coming up is a must in my view. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to dig out from.
All right, well, thanks for joining me here today, Bob, and thanks for watching at home. This has been the Extra Point presented by Microsoft Surface.